Okay. Hi everyone. So we're back for day 2. Okay, so children. Okay, so the driver of a motor vehicle shall ensure that a child seated on a seat when it is available unless an appropriate child restraint or if no child restraint is available, wears a seatbelt when available. If a seat is equipped with a seatbelt that is not available, the driver shall ensure that the child shall, if such motor vehicle is equipped with a rear seat, be seated on the rear seat. It is not compulsory to wear a seatbelt while reversing or moving out or in a parking bay area. So we need to remember that because it's always in the practice questions. So it's not necessary to wear a seatbelt in moving in or out of a parking bay. Okay. The driver of a motor vehicle shall ensure that all persons traveling in a motor vehicle shall wear a seatbelt. So who is responsible? The driver is responsible that all passengers should wear a seatbelt. Okay. Okay, we don't do the motor riders. Okay. Windscreen. So the transparent windscreen of a light motor vehicle must afford the driver sufficient visibility for safe driving, be a safety glass, and have visible light transmittance through the windscreen of at least 70%. They always ask this. It must be at least 70% transmittance. Okay. Windscreen wiper. A light and heavy motor vehicle with a windscreen must fit at least one windscreen wiper and must, when in operation, wipe the outside windscreen directly in front of the driver continuously, evenly, and adequately. So there must be one windscreen wiper that is wiping for the driver, right? Always. Exhaust and silencers. A motor vehicle must be equipped with efficient exhaust silencers, which must allow the exhaust gas from the engine to be projected through such silencer, not emitting exhaust gas or smoke from the engine, which is so dense as to cause a nuisance or obstruct the vision of other road users. Be in such a position that oil or other flammable liquids or materials cannot drip or fall onto it. Be so maintained that exhaust gas or smoke does not leak into the driving cab or passenger compartment of the vehicle. Okay, a motor vehicle may not be used on a public road. A motor vehicle may not be used on a public road without efficient exhaust silencer, unless the gas of the engine is protected through such silencer. If the exhaust gas or smoke from the engine is so dense as to cause a nuisance to obstruction the vision of other road users. If the exhaust pipe or silencer thereof is in such a position that the oil or other flammable liquids or materials can drip or fall onto it, or is not in efficient working order, is so placed and maintained that the exhaust gas or smoke leaks into the driving cab or passenger compartment of the vehicle. So in terms of the exhaust, I think what's the main thing is that I need to remember that it doesn't make noise. It doesn't release gas that will obstruct viewers. It shouldn't leak, and also it shouldn't mess inside the car. Okay. Fuel tank, electric wiring, and battery. A motor vehicle may not be used on a public road if the fuel tank, carburetor, carburetor, fuel receptacle, or fuel pipes thereof is defective or so exposed that it constitutes a source of danger. If the fuel tank is not fitted with an effective cap, or unless the electrical wiring and battery are properly installed, insulated, and maintained so that such a wiring and battery do not constitute a source of danger. So just make sure that it has a cap that's closed, and also it must be closed all the time, and there shouldn't be anything coming in or out. Okay, engine. A light and heavy motor vehicle may not be used on a public road unless the engine thereof is covered and not a source of danger. Emergency warning signs. A heavy motor vehicle GVM exceeds 3,500. So a heavy motor vehicle, you need to remember it exceeds 3,500 kg. All goods vehicle, minibus and buses, excluding motor cars, ambulances, and motorcycles, may not be used on public road unless it is carried on such a vehicle at least one emergency side. Okay, so these heavy motor vehicles should always have an emergency sign. Okay. And provided that in the case of combination of a motor vehicle, the emergency warning sign for every motor vehicle of such combination may be carried on the drawing vehicle. Where a motor vehicle is for any reason stationary on the road of a public road, the driver of such vehicle shall display at least one emergency warning sign in the following manner. A sign shall be placed at least less than 45 meters from the motor vehicle along the road. So the sign needs to be 45 meters, okay, along the road, and considering the direction from the traffic which will approach such vehicle when traveling on the side of the roadway closest to the motor vehicle. The sign shall be placed approximately as far from the edge of the road as the transverse center of the motor vehicle is from the edge of the road. The reflective side of the sign shall face in the direction from which any traffic will approach. This shall not apply when a motor vehicle is stationary in a place where road traffic sign authorizes the loading or unloading of a motor vehicle in compliance with any direction conveyed by a road traffic sign or given by a traffic officer on account of other traffic on the public road concerned, and while the driver occupies the driving seat of such a motor vehicle in the course of events accompanying the carrying of state or municipal function. Okay. Excessive noise. Okay, I just want to check something. Because yesterday we did 20 from the PDF, right? So it's 20 to 25. So now it's going to be 25 to 28. No, 25 to 30. Okay, so excessive noise. No person shall operate on a public road, a vehicle road, in such a manner as to cause excessive noise. Speedometer. A motor vehicle which is designed for or capable of reaching speed of 60 kilometers or more must be equipped with a speedometer, which is in good working order. So a vehicle that is capable of reaching a speed of 60 kilometers needs to have a speedometer. Speed limit. So a general speed limit is applicable on the roads and does not have to be displayed by a road traffic sign. So unless otherwise indicated by road traffic sign, a speed limit of 60 kilometers in a public road within an urban area, 100 kilometers per hour in a public road outside an urban area, and 120 in a freeway. Okay, we need to remember this always. So 60 public road. Okay, let's do it like this. Public road. There's two roads. Public road. Oh gosh. No, let's do this neatly. Okay. So there's a public road, right? And then there's the freeway. Then is urban, non-urban. Let's just put it like that. Urban and non-urban. So freeway, it's 120 per hour. That's a given. Then in urban, 60. Non-urban, 100. So we just need to remember that. Okay, cool. Speed limit in respect of passenger vehicle conveying persons for reward. A speed limit of 100 per hour shall apply to buses and minibuses. So just remember, your bigger vehicles, they must have a speed of 100 kilometers. Okay. A speed limit of 80 for everything that's like GVM. GVM is 3 point. We said GVM is how many? 3.5. Okay. So any GVM that's more than 9,000. Okay. Just remember, a GVM with anything more than 9,000 needs to be on 80. A GVM, which is 3,000, needs to be on 100 kilometers. Why is that? Because you are very heavy. Very heavy. Okay. So then there's the overall length. Okay, legislation provides for restriction on overall length of certain types. So 12,000, less than 12,000 is 8. Less than 12,000 is 8. More than 12,000. Okay, no, that's the wrong side. So less than 12,000. No, man. Why am I doing it wrong? No, it's the right way around. So less than 12,000 is 8. More than 12,000 is 12.5. An articulate motor vehicle is 18.5. Articulated motor vehicle. A bus or train is 22. Any other vehicle, 12.5. A combination is 22 as well. Okay, so without looking, so we need to remember, less than 12,000, 8. More than 12,000, 12.5. Articulate motor vehicle, 18. Buses and trains and any other combined vehicles, it's that. Okay. Overall height, so a double deck bus. So double deck is 4.65 and any other motor vehicle is 4.3. It shouldn't be more than that. Okay, overall width. So just remember, with the tires, it's 1.9. With the body of the whole thing, 2.6. And then that's for the big motor vehicles. And then for the smaller ones, it's 2.5 meters. Okay. Okay, I just need to read this here. convenience of goods. So goods may not be loaded onto your vehicle in such a way that it comes in contact with the surface of the road, obscures the rider's view of the traffic to the front or either the side, or his or her view in the rear view mirror or mirrors of traffic to the rear, which are not safely contained within a body of such a vehicle or secured fastened to such a vehicle, and which are not properly protected from being dislodged or spilled from such a vehicle, and the roof thereof in the case where such vehicle is a motor car. If the height of such goods measured from the highest point of the roof exceeds 1/2 of the motor vehicle measured from the ground, provided that the provisions of the paragraph shall not be applicable in respect of pedal cycles being transported on the roof of a motor vehicle. Okay. Any container which has provision of fastening a means of twist lock, unless such contains a secure fastened by at least 4 twist locks. So there needs to be 4 twist locks. Transporting baggage on a motorcycle is the best possible way to be placing the baggage into a suitable carrier attached secure to the motorcycle. Okay. Circumstances under which a person may be carried on a goods vehicle. If persons are carried on goods vehicle, the portion of the vehicle in which the persons are being conveyed must be enclosed to a height of 350 millimeters above the surface upon which the person is seated, or at least 900 meters above the surface on which the person is standing. It's against the law for passengers to ride in a caravan. So we need to remember that people are not allowed to ride in a caravan. In a caravan. I think caravan. Okay. Projections. Okay, not the motorcycle part, the light and heavy. The light and heavy motor vehicle may not be used on a public road carrying any goods which project either side of the longitude center line of the vehicle by more than, in the case of a bus or goods vehicle, it is 1.3 and 2.6. In case of a vehicle, it's 1.25. So just remember, it should not be, the longitude of whatever should not, okay, for a bus, here's a bus, and here's a car. Okay, so this part should not be more than 1.3. And for this one, should not be more than 1.25. Okay. A light and heavy motor vehicle may not be used on public road carrying any goods which project more than 300 millimeters beyond the front end and more than 1.8 on the rear end. So in the front, 300, on the rear, 1.8. So just want to understand the other part. So what are we doing here? Either side of the longitude center line of the vehicle by more, which projects okay, maybe like on the side like that. I think maybe this is more for like on the side, like here. It should not be 1.3, like the longitude, and then the front and the back. Okay, like the width basically. Okay, I'm gonna continue from 31 tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe.